Coming up, you and your family may find yourself scrambling for one popular breakfast food, eggs. We'll explain why. Then we'll honor Black History Month with a look at how 1 week turned into a month-long celebration. Also, Super Story, we're in New Orleans with our Picture of the Week. And signed, sealed, delivered, the student behind this winning Valentine's Day stamp design. Plus, we'll take you behind the scenes at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show and introduce you to one of the junior sportsmanship competitors.
In juniors, it's how you show the dog and not based off of how the dog. So the dog can be completely incorrect.
How do you train a dog to do what they need to do in the ring?
When I train my dogs, I go step by step every day.
And Best in Show, meet the top dog, Monty, who stole the show.
Monty has always been all about Monty. So to him, he's always a celebrity. Win or lose, Monty always thinks he wins.
This is NBC Nightly News, Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt. It is great to be with you. We've got a pretty awesome lineup ahead, including a preview of next winter's Olympics. That's right, we are just 1 year away, and a little bit later on, Monty will be here, the giant schnauzer who just made history. But first, we want to begin with one of the stories making headlines this week, and it involves something many of you probably eat for breakfast, eggs. Let's get details from our good friend Ann Thompson.
Whether it's sunny side up scrambled or hard boiled, eggs these days are in a bit of a pickle. Egg prices are soaring. The average price for a dozen eggs more than $5. That's about 50% more than what it cost a year ago, according to research. Which means your parents are shelling out a few extra dollars at the store, and maybe even when you go out for breakfast. The Waffle House just announced it's temporarily charging an extra 50 cents per egg due to the unprecedented rise in egg prices. But why? The biggest reason? Bird flu.
Unfortunately, there have been so many birds that have either been infected or have had to be killed so that we can avoid infection across the United States. Bird flu is a virus. It's actually a type of flu virus, but it's different than the flu that we've been talking about, and it's really easy to get in birds.
Sadly, tens of millions of birds have been killed since 2022, the outbreak impacting the supply and causing prices to rise.
Birds can pass the flu to each other very easily. It's kind of everywhere. It's on their body surface, it's on the things that they poop out, it's even in their saliva and things that come out of their beaks and mouths. So it's pretty easy if you're just even in close contact with a bird to get it.
Which is why doctors tell people not to get near a bird if it looks sick or to handle the bird. Health officials also now seeing an increase in cases among other animals like dairy cows. So can kids and grown-ups get bird flu?
You really have to get it directly from being in contact with an animal that already has bird flu. That's why we're telling people that even if you've got chickens in your backyard, but they look sick or they don't look like they normally do, to stay away. Make sure that you call an adult and that they call somebody to come and check out the birds.
Doctors say human cases are rare, and there has been no evidence in the world of humans giving bird flu to other humans. But what about if you eat something made with eggs?
It's incredibly hard to get it from eggs and milk that we eat for a couple of reasons. Milk gets heated in order to get into those gallons and get into our glasses. It gets heated to such a high temperature that it kills almost anything, including bird flu, that could be living in the milk. And then eggs, specifically, eggs are also now being screened for the birds that produce the eggs so that any of the eggs that we're getting are not from birds that are infected. And then even more so, we recommend that anybody taking care of eggs or even cooking with eggs, that they wash their hands and do all the things that we've done even before we were picking up bird flu. So by the time the eggs and the milk land in your glass or on your plate, they've been treated, heated, and no bird flu is present.
Doctors stressing to wash your hands after handling eggs or any raw product and practice common sense when cooking.
When you're cooking the eggs, you want to make sure that at least the part on the outside, that white part, gets at least somewhat cooked. You can have a runny egg in the yolk. You want to make sure that the outside parts of the egg are cooked.
In the meantime, families continue feeling the fallout at the grocery store.
We have reduced the amount of birds that can lay eggs that we can eat by almost 5% in the recent months. That might not sound like big numbers, but it does translate into less eggs and more expensive eggs at the grocery store.
And thanks so much. Meantime, February is Black History Month. It's a time to learn about and celebrate the heritage and achievements of African Americans. Did you know that Carter G. Woodson is widely recognized as the father of Black History Month? The scholar had the idea of showcasing the contributions of Black Americans. In 1926, he launched what was called Negro History Week. Why February? Well, because February includes the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, who escaped slavery and spoke out against it, and President Abraham Lincoln, who issued the Emancipation Proclamation, ending slavery. The week later evolved into what we now know today as Black History Month. They are pioneers, legends, icons in history who we celebrate for paving the way for some of the freedoms we enjoy today.
I have a dream.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
Here at the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, we believe two things: that Black history is important every month of the year, and that Black history is actually American history. There are a lot of contributions that Black Americans have made to this country that, taking that out of the equation, there's a lot of things we wouldn't have.
There were those who led by example and showed immense bravery, like Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and helped others escape to freedom back in the 1800s, and civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Heroes like the Tuskegee Airmen, the first Black military aviators in the U.S. Army Air Corps, who broke barriers and ushered in change in America. Pioneers in business.
When it comes to Black history, I adore Madam C.J. Walker. Her story, from rags to riches, is one that we can all really learn some critical lessons about our character. Madam C.J. Walker's drive and her dedication to her goal of designing her own beauty products and sharing it with the world really underscores the importance of perseverance and dedication.
Scholars in science.
George Washington Carver was a famous agricultural scientist and botanist.
Giants in sports, music, and on the big and small screens.
That are highlighting this huge contribution that African Americans have made to the arts and cultural scenes.
February is Black History Month, but educators, historians, and even journalists like me encourage kids of all ages and skin colors to do their own homework year-round.
It's to help you have a greater level of connection and concern about your fellow classmates, the folks that you'll see on the street, your neighbors, and maybe that will spur you to want to be different and make a change.
Okay, now let's test your news smarts to see if you've been paying attention to the news headlines this week. We are just 1 year out from the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. The question, where will the 2026 Winter Games take place? A, France, B, Switzerland, or C, Italy? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, time's up. The answer is C, Italy. The 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics will take place next February in Italy. And here with a preview is our good friend, Today co-anchor Craig Melvin.
The countdown is on to the first Olympic Games to be officially co-hosted by two cities, Italy's fashion capital, Milan, and the Alpine city of Cortina, host of the 1956 Olympics.
And I think they're all waiting with anticipation for the Games.
The host cities more than 250 miles apart, making them the most widespread games in history. 25 event venues across northern Italy. In an attempt to save money, 90% of those venues are temporary or existing facilities repurposed for the Games.
How confident are you that a year from now, you'll be ready?
We will be ready. There's
no question.
There's no question.
Fans will also be flocking to see the famed sites like Milan's heart and soul. the Duomo.
I see why it took 600 years to build it.
It's one of the largest cathedrals in the world, but the real showstopper is up on the roof, the Madonnina, or Virgin Mary.
Folks climbed 251 steps to get here, the highest point of the Duomo, to see her, 12 feet tall, covered in gold leaves. She is the symbol of this beloved city, Milan.
It's a stunning story of faith and art.
This is the stone and marble forest featuring flying buttresses and statues and spires. This is no doubt where next winter folks are going to come and snap their selfies during the games.
This Winter Olympics includes 8 new competitions and the debut of ski mountaineering, which involves climbing and hiking uphill. Nearly 3,000 Olympians will descend upon Italy. One young figure skater trying to take a spin at gold, Isabel Levito. That twirl, a good luck tradition here at the iconic Galleria.
They're looking at me like, who's that weird American?
A tradition her mother, Chiara, a Milano native, remembers well.
Chiara, you lived here?
I lived here, yes.
How long ago?
28 years ago.
Now, she hopes to return again with an Olympian.
And honestly, when we found out when the Olympics were going to be in Milan, it kind of felt like destiny. Just that, like, this is like where my heritage, this is where I come from.
Chiara led us to one of her favorite food stops, Luini's, a Milanese institution.
When you come, what do you usually get?
Pomodoro mozzarella, this is the classic.
Tomato and mozzarella.
Panzerotti, known as golden pockets of joy.
I'll do that one. Spicy salami. Yes. Cheers to being back in Milan next year. Cheers.
Craig, thanks very much. I can't wait. And we should note the mascots for the Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games 2026 were just revealed. Say hello to Tina and Milo, 2 Stoat siblings. Well, it's Valentine's Day this week, and there is one small town in Texas that really loves getting into the spirit. We're talking about Valentine, Texas. Each year, we're told thousands of people from across the country and around the world send their Valentines to the post office in Valentine, Texas for a special postmark. For more than 30 years, the postmark has been selected from a contest among students in the Valentine Independent School District. This year, 7th grader Ellie Terrazzo designed the winning stamp featuring a landscape with a campfire. Ellie says she was inspired by fond memories of her grandfather, who often had a campfire at family gatherings, as well as at outdoor concerts held in her hometown. That's pretty awesome. Way to go, Ellie, and happy Valentine's Day. Okay, time for our picture of the week, and it's a super sweet one. Remember last week we told you about this young Eagles fan named Declan who decided to pay it forward, giving away $1,000 that he was gifted to others. Well, thanks to his generosity, Declan, who is battling a rare form of juvenile arthritis, got to go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans with his family. And guess what? On Sunday, actor Bradley Cooper, a fellow Eagles fan, asked Declan to help him on the field introduce the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And it's our picture of the week. What an amazing moment for this young fan. Those acts of kindness went viral, touching hearts across the country. And by the way, his team won. Way to go, Eagles. Turning now to this week's Kids Spotlight. It's one of the most famous sporting competitions in the country, bringing together thousands of 4-legged participants. We're talking about the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. Our cameras were invited behind the scenes to capture all the action as it unfolded this week during the Junior Showmanship competition here in New York City. Let's get more from our friend Savannah Sellers.
It's really important to have a good dog that has good temperament, and that also comes with the training along the way.
At just 13, Leah Graham has been competing in dog shows since she was 4.
I just want to impress myself and make milestones for myself. And sometimes I get nervous, but not too much.
The teen following in her mom's footsteps.
My mom did all the sports and obedience and stuff, and one day I told her that she was really bad at it and that I needed to give it a go, and then I just kind of stuck with it and progressed over the years.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 15, but most of them are really small. So they're mostly Chihuahuas.
With her 2 Chihuahuas, Giovanni and Etta, Graham is competing as a junior handler and in the breed competition with other adults at the annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. How did you learn all this?
I just learned it over the years as I started showing, and I started with an Australian Shepherd, so they're pretty different than Chihuahuas, and my mom kind of taught me a lot that I know, and I met a lot of pro handlers and breeders that taught me all the stuff that I know today.
This week, the excitement, chaos, and love for dogs on full display in New York City. Behind the scenes, a lot of grooming, blow drying, and some personal touches to look their best. This is one of the areas where over 2,500 dogs are getting ready for their big moment. And in the junior showmanship competition, about 100 handlers will come from 30 different states. Since 1934, the Westminster Kennel Club has awarded the title of Best Junior Handler, judged on the handling skills of each kid.
In juniors, it's how you show the dog and not based off of how the dog. So the dog can be completely incorrect.
Kids between the ages of 9 and 18 can take part in the junior showmanship competition.
We're watching some of the junior handlers with dogs now.
Think it looks easy? Each junior handler, like Leah, has been competing year-long in dog shows across the country to rack up Best Junior Handler awards to be able to qualify to compete at Westminster.
Is it safe to say everyone in this room is a dog lover?
Absolutely.
Don Sturz is president and show chairman.
I showed for the first time at Westminster when I was 10 years old. I showed my family's golden retriever, Clyde.
Sturz then became the #1 junior handler in the country for 3 consecutive years.
Are the handler and the dog like a team?
Absolutely. In junior showmanship, they're actually judging the handler. So they're looking at how well you present your dog. They want to see the connection between you and your dog. They want to see, are you presenting the dog in the way that that breed is supposed to be presented?
Really, you and your dog are like a team, is that right?
Yes.
So how do you get your dog to have that connection with you?
For me, my dogs, usually they sometimes sleep with me in bed. I sometimes feed them. We go on walks a lot.
How do you train a dog to do what they need to do in the ring?
When I train my dogs, I go step by step every day. I don't overwork the dogs in one particular day. I take handling classes, which really help with other people, to be around other people, to be touched.
Leah says treats also come in handy, and she hopes to continue to compete as she grows older.
It just takes a lot of perseverance to keep going, because it's going to be really hard in the beginning, but then your dog is gonna catch on, obviously with the treats and all the training and stuff. They're really gonna catch on.
Savannah, thanks so much for bringing us that great story. And we should note Taylor Johnson won Best Junior Handler with her Old English Sheepdog. And speaking of Westminster, Monty, a giant schnauzer from New Jersey, just won Best in Show. And joining us now in the studio is Catherine Bernardin. And Monty, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Did you there's every different sport, there's a moment where you feel like you won. Was there a moment in this one where you thought Monty could win this?
It wasn't a moment I thought he won, but it was a moment that I felt he just nailed it.
Yeah.
He did everything I asked him to do, just the way I wanted to do it, and I just felt great about his performance.
So I understand Monty is part of a class of dogs we refer to as working dogs. So explain what that means in this case.
He would be considered like a versatile farm dog. They're also used as police dogs. They're just very driven animals.
So they want to work.
They need to work.
They're busy dogs.
Yes.
Does Monty understand the celebrity around him right now on some level? Do you see anything in him that's...
Monty has always been all about Monty. So to him, he's always a celebrity.
So none of this is...
No, he just likes the extra pets. But win or lose, Monty always thinks he wins.
Yeah. I had a chance to host several Westminster dog shows in the past. And one thing I was struck by is how much discipline there is, not only for the animal, but for the handlers.
Yeah.
There is a lot of work involved. Explain that to our kids who are watching.
They say the feelings travel straight down the leash. So in order, you need to be composed and calm, because if you aren't, they aren't. If you're calm, they're calm. And that's kind of how you get through a stressful situation like that, is just take a deep breath and just trust your dog and trust yourself and trust that they know what they're doing.
Are you both being judged or just Monty in this case?
In this, it's just Monty.
Well, thank you so much. Can I say hi?
Of course.
Can I come over and say hi? Hey, Monty. Hey, buddy, congratulations. I'm over here.
Yeah.
I think he knows his treats on that side of the studio. Well, it's really great to have you here. Thanks and congratulations. Monty, you're welcome to come by anytime.
Good boy.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us. Parents, just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic in the news, email a video to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. You can also follow us on Instagram @nightlykids. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to take care of yourself and each other. So long.